might get a contract that says standard deal, or you might get a contract that says traditional deal. It's the same thing. Um, you want to go through the overview?
Yeah, I got you. So, like she said, they mean the same thing. So, traditional and standard in terms of that. And then today's topics is going to be the basics of a standard or traditional deal, the pros and cons of the standard and traditional deal, what we think you should watch out for, and we can give you some negotiation tactics or opinions or experiences that we've had as well. You know what I mean? So if anything, right? I'm pretty sure the majority of y'all here are music artists. And if it's Monday, you know what I'm saying? That means y'all the cream of the crop. It's a Monday at 8 a.m. and y'all popped up to hear some stuff about music. So leave me a question. Let me know. We're going to be up here for like 45 minutes to an hour. And then towards the end, we ask questions and all of that. So if y'all got any questions, I see you, Ken. If you want to come on later and ask a question or mention something, wait till the end. Stay here to the end with us or come back in like 30 minutes. And I'll be happy to let you come up here for a second and spit some game. But yeah, that goes for everybody else. Like, we want to make this engaging. So leave comments. Use the question box. And then if y'all got any questions or just want to talk towards the end, we'll keep like 5-10 minutes open for that and get everybody a minute or two to just spit some game. You feel me? So the first John we want to go through is just and let me know if y'all got any questions as well, because once I get rolling, I don't read the comments. So just you got to drop your questions in when I ask, and Mick will keep up, and then vice versa. When Mick talking, then I'll do my best to incorporate what you saying. So a record deal is a contract between an artist and a record label in exchange for financing, promotion, distribution of your music. And that's not all inclusive. It could be one of three, two of three, or all of three. And then like the label takes a significant cut of the profits. While this can help launch your career, it often comes with strings attached. So the reason why I said significant is because, vocabulary is important, especially when you look at anything in life. So it's like the reason why I said significant is because the significance or the sign of actualization from the deal is them being able to have a profit. They're not going to cook up the contract if somewhere in there it's not inevitable that they'll make a profit if you do your part. So that's the significance of the contract. It's in order to make profit, not so that you can be heard, or not because, somebody just has goodwill. It's because niggas want to run a business. You feel me? So that's just an explanation from the top.
And that's even if you are pushing something positive. Like, they don't, if it work, it work. Like, they don't care as long as they get their money.
Like when you go to get an
But
auto loan or a home loan, it's like they don't
care
they
what,
don't know what you about to live in your crib
yeah,
and do. They don't know what furniture. They're not into all of that. They like, bro, just make sure you pay me my
what
bread
my
back.
interest, what,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it's a loan, bro. Right? So give
But
thanks.
an example of a record deal, I think everybody is familiar with TLC. Um, one of the most famous girl groups ever of any genre. Uh, they were signed to LaFace under Arista Records, and they sold over 65 million records. And despite doing that, they were in debt for a long time because, up to the point that they all had to file bankruptcy. And that was because their deal said that they had to pay for promotion, touring costs, recording costs, literally everything that an artist has to pay for, they had to pay for. So while LaFace was shelling out this money and buying them the Range Rovers and the Land Rovers and all of that, um, they weren't understanding because they were teenage girls. And at that time, wasn't nobody giving out the details, like, but they weren't understanding that they had to pay all of that money back. I'm pretty sure they understood that, they would have never took the cars. They probably would have still took the money for like promo and production and all of that because they didn't have that stuff on hand to begin with. But they had to pay for everything, what it took to make those music videos. If you see TLC music videos, especially for the 90s, very upscale, very, very fancy, very cutesy, very demure. Like they so they had to pay all of that back, and they had no money to pay that back. And then even with, I want to say their deal, they got like 18 cent as a group per dollar, and I might be wrong. It might be less than that. So 18 cent divided by three, it's nothing. Like, and then they all had to pay their own, like their lawyers and all of that type of stuff. Like they had to do all of that themselves. So they ended up in debt. Um, and there are people who made out well with deals, but there are vast majority of people who don't. So like as we're going through this topic today, and I'm giving examples of these different things, for the most part, there will be negative connotations. I'm just putting that out there. And that's just because that's the reality of it. Like, not everybody is Russ or Frank Ocean and makes out great with the deals that they make.
And
So,
you know,
yeah.
I would say too, like you said, just as you know, a point of view that most people have going into it. Uh, you know, especially like when you go to college, right? Going to college is like a similar dynamic where you you want to get an education because you want to improve the quality of your life. And you know, the institutions that have the ability to give you the education to do that, they require money. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of time the federal government comes in between and they give you the financial aid so
Mm-hmm.
that you can go there. And so, you know, they tack on interest and they create a system where once again they find significant profit or ability to generate revenue through that because that's the way that it's built. Like they built a business in order to, you know what I mean, loan you some money. Now, once again, like you said, it could be like a negative connotation, but at the end of the day, like, you know, the average return on um, paid student loans. So this
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't qualify for people who haven't paid them, but for people who have entirely paid their student loans, I believe there's certain studies that show that the average investment of a college degree, you know, in the early 2000s was like about $35,000, and the average person in a lifetime was making $2 million off of that degree. So it's like when you get a record deal, you know, you're getting access to capital so that you can, you know, inject it into your business. So the
Yeah.
same way that if you go to a bank or anywhere else, like that's actually one of the privileges that just come with being American,
Yeah.
essentially. If you look at that system of utilization for capital, because I'm not, like you said, I'm not the biggest advocate, but I'm very aware and educated just on how money works. So I'm not advocating that like, yeah, taking on $200,000 worth of debt and recouping it later is the best way to, you know what I'm saying, circulate money. But that's the initiative, that's the incentive behind it is that, you know, when you're a talented artist in the early 90s, when a lot of these contracts weren't publicly, you know, talked about, like everybody wasn't talking about contracts in the early 90s in people's homes. And a lot of times what it just appeared to people was that, you know, you were rich. But that was because in the early 90s, you didn't really have access to capital. You couldn't walk into a bank and get a loan. You couldn't get 5 credit cards and have a $50,000 line of credit, you know, that you use to improve the quality of your life.
Yeah. And
So, you know,
also,
that's what a lot of these younger people was trying to do. They was just trying to improve the quality of their life immediately. And that's
mm-hmm.
where a lot of the loaning or the advances or just the, like you said, the lack of financial literacy disposed or decomposed those opportunities and became the reputation of the record industry today. Just because
and
niggas ain't know how to do nothing with no money.
and also, and it's still like prevalent and relevant today. Like how now they'll sign you and give you a chain. Like back then they did. They'll buy you the house, but it's not your house. It's in the name. It's in the company name. They'll buy you a car. You don't know it's not your car because you got the keys.
Yeah.
And
Like you
so
said,
they build it
the
and
money
yeah.
coming out of it's coming out of an account. You know what I'm saying? It's coming out. So it's like that's what I wanted to add to your sentiment or examples of just like, that's America. That's how money gets moved around. You know what I mean? People create debt and then they put interest on the debt, and then that's how you make a little extra money on the top. And that's usually a vehicle that most rich people use, and they target most people who don't got the money because that amount of money, $200,000 is someone who ain't never had $2,000 is life
Mm-hmm.
changing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the just simplifying it, right? It's like you need a car, you get a financier, you know what I'm saying, and 25% interest. Some people will call that predatory considering you don't got no credit, you don't have no driver's license, you don't have no experience with a car. So unless your parents were financially responsible, this is just the way you gonna come into the game until you get a 750, 800 credit score, and then you can pay 3% to 1%
No,
or
I know the
nothing. You know
same.
what I mean? Like it's just the way the game. When you got better record deals, it's because you're a more successful artist. They'll give you big splits of your
And we gonna get
contracts and your
into
masters.
that too.
They gonna
We're gonna
give
get
it
into
to
that
you,
too.
like, because they will keep you there. So it's America. It's just another business that they made. But the next part of it is the basics, right? And that's the segments too.
Before
So
before we start this part, this is the part where like y'all need to take notes because it's a lot. Like it's a lot of information. So just give y'all a second to get prepared.
definitely, if y'all got any questions too, because I know when people be locked in, I know what they be doing. Because I don't do this. It's fascinating to me, but like people will put the live in the background and just listen
Mm-hmm.
to it, and I be like, when if I even give you my time for a live, because I don't got time to sit with you live on a live. That's like crazy that y'all do this for me. Like I'm very impressed that y'all be here this early to hear us communicate this. But I know anytime I'm there, I'm locked in. I got the notebook, I got the computer, I got the voice memo. Like I'm locked in. Like I'm asking questions. I'm following people in the live
Mm,
because that means we got mutual interest. Like I'm super
facts.
locked in with a live. So I'm just imagining like
That's how I
if y'all got anything
ended
y'all
up
want to ask
following
or do, it's the
that's
time,
how I
bro.
ended up following Soul on one of your lives.
You feel me?
I can't
Like,
remember what she said, but it was like, yeah, like I agree with that.
yeah, that's about right.
But
It is. So definitely
you ready
let us
to
know. You did. Yeah, I got you. I got you. So in advance, right? These are just definitions I'm gonna go through for y'all real quick. And you want me to do both the definitions or one at a time?
one at a time so that the
I got you.
examples so it's not confusing.
Yeah, I got you. So an advance is money given to you up front by the label to fund your career. However, this money is not free. You're expected to pay it back through your earnings, like sales and streaming revenue. If you don't make enough money to cover the advance, you might end up in debt. You will end up in debt.
No, yeah, you
That is
will.
absolutely going to happen, right? You know what I mean?
So the example that I chose for this one was Megan Thee Stallion's deal with 1501 Certified Entertainment, and her distribution was through 300 Entertainment. So
Shouts
a ten thousand
out to
dollar
Leora.
she received a $10,000 advance, and then she became bigger than the label, like not like in opinion, like in fact, and she was getting a very, very small portion of the money that she was bringing to the label. Um, so they went through legal issues for her to get out of that contract because she was clearly not just carrying the label. Like she, like I don't know nobody else that was signed to them. Like to this day, we don't know. We don't know nobody for real. We don't know who run the label. We don't know. We don't know nothing. All we know is that they was in legal issues with Megan Thee Stallion. Like so, like it's situations like that, like where sometimes you get offered a very small um advance, and then you end up being huge, but you signed this contract where you get 10%, because I think that's what it was. She got 10% of the royalties after paying back the money that they spent, but they had already made their money back, and she was that 10% of nothing. Like 10% of a million is what?
It's 100 racks. That's before the tax.
Imagine. I was just about to say, imagine somebody you
100
doing
racks
you
before the
you the
tax.
one outside. You the one outside. You the one in this situation. You the one showing your body off. You the one talking the way you talking, and you in school while this is happening, and somebody's getting $900,000, and you getting 100,000, and you still gotta pay lawyers. You still gotta pay accountants. You still getting taxed. That $100,000 is really $50,000 once you get into that six-figure tax bracket. So
Like you said, yeah,
that's not
yeah, like
nothing.
you said, taxes. Yeah.
Um, $50,000. That's not even middle class. Middle
That's a
class.
Camry. That's a that's a Volkswagen. It's,
Um. So yeah, that is like, and that happens. I feel like that happens more often than not. I watched a video where LaRussell was saying like he one label, he ain't say who it was because he ain't want to like do that. But he said they offered him a $10,000 discretionary fund, and he like, bro, I built a venue in my backyard. You think I can't make $10,000 on my own? Like they will, the like it'd be different if you came with the 250, if you came with the $1 million, you came with like something crazy, and then I got a small percentage. But to give me small money and a small percentage is like
mm,
it just shows what you think of the person.
mm, mm. Precisely.
Um, so yeah, that's it. That's advances. Do y'all have any questions on like not the meaning because we went through that, but like how they work or anything?
I mean, I'm a hustler, right? So it's like off the rip. So there's a lot of artists who I revere a lot. You know what I mean? Whether it be LL, Timberland, I mean Outkast. You feel me? Even like some of the newer cats. Um, you know, Uzi came up on that. Like a lot of people, like when you're super talented and you in a bind and you know like some shit is going on, it's like you can look back at your deal later, right? It's like what I was saying
Mhm.
about getting that fucked up apartment. We've all
Mhm.
signed a fucked up apartment agreement, but then that could have aligned you with the job you needed in the girl that you was gonna get that upgraded your life. And then you know what I mean? Okay, you pay that judgment off, but now you making 40,000 anyway. You came from the trenches. So it's like a lot of the times it's like you gotta look at it like you getting in the door as well, because this is the thing. If you know you're not gonna do the homework, do the business, do the heavy lifting, do the leg work, then it's like, yeah, you probably need a student loan. You don't need to start a business. You know what I mean? So it'd be like, that's what I'm learning after being in the music business for like 6, 7 years. Is like, it's not in a lot of artists to do all the work.
Yeah, no,
Now, it's like, should they get a predatory deal? When you start looking at the expenses that go into it,
it's
based
not
on the
really
quality of
predatory.
career y'all want to go, yeah, it's not really predatory. It's like y'all bringing in 7, 8, 9 figures. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody to start you up on that and you not be willing to invest in the potential of 7, 8, 9 figure business deals, then it's like somebody's going to scrape you. They're going to scrape you every time. It's like if I loan you $5,000 and then you go make $1 million, no, I'm not restructuring the contract. Like why would I restructure the contract? You got to come in my office and you got to save up your own money and you going to have to fight me in court for that bread. Like cuz that's just business. So it's
And
like
me and Ree was talking about that, like, and not like downplaying nobody, but like some people like you have to go The
Like you
deal,
wasn't gonna put up $5,000 for your own studio equipment. That's all
no,
it took for
like
you to write a hit, and you didn't do that.
you gotta go the deal route because you're not like even outside of that, like you're not trying to learn about promotion. You're not trying to
Yeah,
like you. It be people that just not even trying to learn about the different aspects of the business. So you're not trying to do business. You're just trying to make music. So
respectfully.
you got to get in bed with people that do business, and you got to deal with how they do business.
Period. Period. That's why just to segue into the next zone, which is royalties, it's like my experience with all of that is that I don't agree with it. I don't advocate for it. I don't like it. So that's why I create my own systems. Now, the systems that I'm creating, like I literally only been practicing my media platform for 4 years. I've only been practicing my personal brand and distributing my own media for 2 years. Warner Brothers been open for 88
Mm-hmm.
years. Universal been open for 94 years.
Mm-hmm.
Type shit. Like, so it's like I'm not even trying to get into like war with them.
Yeah.
That's they thing right now. If you gonna go there, you went there. That's what you doing. But like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, that's really the landscape. So like when they say royalties, you know what I mean? I'm gonna read the definition and then I'll give my explanation and then you give your what they call it, the example, right? So after the label recoups its investments, including your advance and production costs, you start to earn royalties. These are typically a small percentage of your sales or streams. The label often takes a large share, sometimes 85 to 90%, leaving you with a fraction. And so the part that I wanted to end on that last note was that he who pays the bills, excuse me, he who has the skills pays the bills, right? So it's like if you come in with one skill, let's look at a contract like 10 skills, right? Promotion, marketing, you feel me? Uh, Publishing, masters, camera work, makeup artists, clothing, merchandise, well, clothing and merchandise, ticket sales, touring, and you know what I mean, recording royalties. All of these
Endorsements.
are, you know what I mean, endorsements. We can go down the line of ways you make money, right? And then you only want to do one thing on this list of things to do, which is show up to the studio. You just want to show up to the studio and make the music. Okay, two things, and then go on tour and perform it. Two things, right? And at that, you're not just doing it on the terms of showing up and performing. No, no, no. I seen SZA's show. I seen Beyonce's show. I see Kendrick's show. Y'all got red lights gleaming, chariots riding down, tigers running on stage, 18 people breakdancing, and you want to get paid more money. That just let me know you're not really watching everybody else who's making this possible. You got the lighting guy, the sound guy, you got people doing the media. You got people going to work 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, working
Sometimes
40
7.
to 60 hours to make your stuff go crazy, right? So
They
when
gonna
I hear
work
an
30
artist say
days
that,
straight to take those 2 days off to come to your show, get the
they
hotel
gotta pay the
room.
ticket to come see your own
Yeah,
show that
I'm
they
saying.
promoted, bro. So that's what I'm saying. It's like there's another side of all of this, and that's where the royalties come in. Where if you do the work that you intended to do, and like everything go well, that money starts coming in like clockwork, and that's the power of having a strong catalog. Like somebody like Mariah Carey, for example, where she got a few records that pay her all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like royalties are actually what the regular world of business would call passive income.
Yeah.
It's not
Remember
intended to be
I said.
your day-to-day money.
rem-
It's supposed to be,
Remember
you
I
know,
said
compound.
the royalties is like your residual money.
Yeah,
Like it's like when you go do a movie and they pay
right,
you up front, and then you be getting paid. Like I'm not gonna say actors complain because I don't know what they go through to
right. I
create.
don't
Like
know, but
some of them be losing their minds getting in character for roles. Like Heath Ledger. Like they
it's
really
just
go
like
through
some
things
people
to
be losing
get
their
there.
life making that music.
Yeah.
Shit. Niggas be
So,
losing their life to
but
this shit.
like when you get paid up front, and that's where I think the negotiation should happen, the upfront money, because then the residual money, the show done came on 3, 4 times. and you got a check for $1.50, you can't even cash the check because they take $2 to cash the
Right, it take $2
cash the check.
to cash your check.
Like
You funny, yo.
that's that
You
money. That's why I don't,
gotta wait till that shit
bro,
pile up before
bro.
you
I
can
just
even cash it out. I
you
need two
seen
checks to cash one.
you, you seen what I posted last week, the what I made on even versus what was on streaming from April to now.
Mm-hmm.
From April to now on streaming, I made 71 cents from even, and that wasn't even accurate. That wasn't even accurate. That was only for the one release on even. Like that wasn't for what everything I have on even. So just off that one release from even from April to now, it was 170 something. Like it you think I'm about to rely on people playing my music on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube, or you think I'm gonna rely on me directly going to the people and saying this is what I'm selling, this is what I got, and they getting more than the music. You getting the merch, like you getting the show. You like it's just the them royalty rates. It's not
They're
real.
not
Like
competitive.
it's not doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the key
it's not
word. They're
really.
not competitive, and that's why I appreciate you bringing your personal story as well into it. You know what I mean? Because you've experienced it, where you've tried the different models, and just like any person, right? If I can do both, right, let me do both. But being strategic about it is like that's the most important part. Is like you said, creating the leverage, creating the catalog, having the work ethic. And I think this is a great time. Unfortunately, most people don't recognize it. I've been seeing this new meme as it relates to what we're talking about, where it's this scene from Seinfeld where Jerry Seinfeld, he's asking the bald-headed dude, he's like, "Yo, what happened to us, man? What are we becoming?" And it's this meme that refers to, like, how they put the hook on
Yeah,
it, and it says, how music artists feel now that they have to be content creators. And when I be seeing that, it just be like, you know what, man, this is really exposing the suits and the fake artists, because if you could have told DMX he could create content along the way of his album journey, he would have loved it. If you could have told Busta Rhymes, if you could have told real artists that they could have documented the whole process and created their own perspective, narrative,
can
and point of view that they
you
were in
imagine the
control of,
Missy
like, bro,
Elliott documentary?
Like, bro, so this is when I be hearing people complain about being able to be more creative and having more tools to create with, it just be like, sounds suspicious.
I think I was about to say
Starting to sound real
I
suspicious.
think part of it for some people, because at least like for me, like if you really look at my content, it's the real moments of life. Like it's not, it's but it's
Not
hard. It's
doctor.
hard. I was about to say it's hard to do that and not like it's hard to walk around with a camera on you and not feel fake, especially like when you first like you're first
Getting on
getting
it.
into it. And then even then you're looking at like when you go back and watch the footage, it's like, oh no, my shirt
Because
was
you know when you're not
leaning off
being
to the
you.
side
You
a
can see
little
it.
bit.
You see it.
Like
Right.
it's certain things that's not like you can't get jiggy with. So it's like I don't really want to put this out because it's a little too raw or it's a little too like exposing. Because like it's a lot of stuff that it's a lot of videos and stuff on my phone that'll never make it because it got like my newborn nephew in the video or something like that. Like it's like it's certain things that's not like for everybody's consumption. So it is that I feel like that's part of it. Like
But
it's
that's
a
what I was just saying about the creative part. Just to add to what you're saying is like, if you are as creative as you say you are, not you in particular, I'm speaking to the audience or people who are critical of documenting something, right? You don't got to be a journalist, you don't got to be a documentarian, but I'm like, invest in the way. That's why I love. That's why female artists are winning right now. They invest in the fantasy. They'll invest in this imaginary person that they created. Okay, I don't want you to know my real life. I will create Sexy Red. I will go create Lotto.
why
I will go
I just
create
in my
Megan Thee
as soon
Stallion.
as you said that, I'm like,
I will go
damn
create a
mama.
character, and y'all can consume the character, right? I got 50 characters Let's just what? That's why I'm a Gemini artist. Andre 3000, 5
Mm-hmm.
characters. Kendrick, 5 characters. Tupac, 8 characters. Right? It's like Ice Cube literally plays characters. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you're multi-dimensional and you actually creative, bro, I could go in the studio today. I'm ready to create all the
Yeah.
time. So it's like that's why I just be saying, in the ending the point of royalties, because now this is another royalty check we picking up. I
No
love it.
facts.
My YouTube just had a spike on a
I
content I
seen it.
made 45 days ago,
I seen
right?
it.
Royalties. I don't gotta keep remaking stuff. Old stuff I made still creates value for me and other people. So that's why it's like royalties. Yeah, you get 10% of. Y'all need to really negotiate this stuff, like
And
for
that I
real.
was
But
about to say
that's what it
out of
is.
that
You just like the negotiation strategy, and I think that's what comes next, right? We about to actually talk
out of
about
that
negotiations today.
yeah, we are gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like two more I think it's two more things as part of the basics of the contract. But like speaking of YouTube, out of that 71 out of that 71 cent, I think it was like 36 cent was from the Light a Candle video. I recorded Light a Candle in 2019. I put that video out like January, February.
So
So it's like, and you know what it took 500 something plays.
yeah, to get
For
30 cents, right?
that's what can I
Yeah.
say? Like, and that's just like it was still gonna be sitting there because like if it wasn't for one, even wasn't out at the time, and I wasn't really privy to how to do direct to consumer without the digital platform.
Yeah, we
Um,
gonna
so it's
do a
like that.
class on that too, yo.
So
We
that
gonna
wouldn't. So
do. We gotta definitely do
that
a
would have
class
just
on
been
DTS, DC.
that would have
Yeah,
just been not out. Like I wouldn't have had the 71 cent, which I haven't touched none of my money off TuneCore for the whole year. It's more than
okay.
71 cent. That just was from April to now. Um, which it has. I've seen it decrease since I started using Even, which I'm cool with because I'll take my daily money over quarterly money
My
any
daily
time.
bread, no pun
No
intended.
facts.
My daily bread, nigga.
Um, yeah.
Like,
I was about to say, and that first publishing check coming in October, the first quarter publishing check coming in October. So, and that's another thing. Like it's so everything about the business, as far as the money for the artist, is so lagged. That's why you go into debt because you don't know when you getting your money. You don't know how much the money gonna really be, especially if you what
yeah, it's like
Kendrick
behind the
said you
curtain.
signed.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Kendrick said
behind
you
the
signed to a nigga that was signed to a nigga that said he was signed to that nigga. That's like TLC was signed to LaFace, but LaFace was signed to Arista. Is
curtain.
so Arista gotta get their money before LaFace get their money, and
Yeah.
then LaFace get they everybody at LaFace get their money. L.A. Reid and Babyface get their money after LaFace, the company gets their money, and then TLC gets their money.
Right.
And then even after that, TLC got to get their money before they could pay their lawyers, before they could pay their rent. Like it takes so much for the money to come. Like it's all these different avenues got to be paid before the artists get paid.
You think we should do? You think we should do this part? Like, you think we should do it in? We gonna have a part two for today because we got 20 minutes left. We probably gonna need at least another 30 minutes to get through all of this.
Let's see. Let's go to the recoupment.
Cause I got 30 more minutes just to give you a heads up. Like I ain't in no
Yeah,
rush.
you mean like start it right after this one?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah. I got 30 more. So recoupment. The process of paying back the label before you start earning any money. The label will deduct expenses like recording costs, marketing, and advances from your earnings, often leaving you with little to no profit. So I actually spoke on this very clearly in the other
Yeah.
example. So we can hit the
Yeah.
example for this one if you'd like. But
And
we kind of went in on that.
this is my favorite example out of all of the examples that I put in here. Tony Braxton. who was also signed to LaFace Records. It'd be a pattern. Um,
Right.
she sold over 10 million copies with her debut album. Sis had $1,972 in royalties after the label recouped all the costs, which led her to filing bankruptcy, even though
Mm.
she had just sold 10 million records on her first album. Tony Braxton. I was just listening to Unbreak My Heart yesterday. So Tony Braxton, the Tony Braxton, like I don't know how to even emphasize it enough to say like there's
She
no
had a
way
she had a refund
once
check. She
yeah,
had a
like I said,
refund check.
there's no way to say once we knew of Tony Braxton, once the world knew Tony Braxton, there's no way she should have had less than $2,000.
He sent her
Like
at
be
a
for
refund
real.
check. Like that shit was her taxes. Like
Like
any tax refunding.
if you go look if you go
Crazy.
look at like I don't know what they was buying her or
That's all. They were
anything.
just
Yeah,
overspending. Yeah, they were
I was about to
overspending
say
on
because if you
purpose.
go look at her
On purpose.
videos, if you go look at her videos, it ain't nothing too crazy in there. Like like TLC, I ain't blaming them, but like TLC, like their videos extravagant,
Yeah, it
like
was.
all of them.
That's unfortunate too, because just like now and any other time, it's a changing of the. And excuse me, I recognize the patterns that you mentioned. That there's a shift in financing when they promote female artists. It's like the ninth chapter of a corporate squeeze. They start
Mm-hmm.
bringing the women in. You know what I mean? In all sectors of business. Anytime they're like, all right, you know what? Let's bring the women in. That means they're pretty much like siphoning the rest of what's there. And that's unfortunate because, like you said, that era of Tony Braxton's and TLC's, it looks very familiar to this era of the new prominence of female music. But it's like that's where a lot of the shifting of the protocol comes into play. And there's been some. We all know what's over the horizon, AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we know what's over this horizon. So that's the beauty of today that wasn't yesterday. Is like they didn't know that they were about to encounter, commercialism. They
Yep.
didn't know that. They didn't know the reason why all the money was being squeezed out of their artistry is because they were about to go get Reebok deals and
Mm-hmm.
Bright deals. They didn't know. People didn't know that hip hop was going corporate in the mid '90s. But we have the
No,
ability to know
yeah,
that music is about to
because
turn
of
into
that
a
stuff happened
technology.
to them.
Yeah, we know it's about to turn into technology. Like if you don't know how to
Yeah,
code, create music, search engine optimization, use AI, you can't be an artist in
but it's
2025.
also, as I say,
You got to learn this stuff.
it's also being used against us. Since we're gonna do the part two, I feel like it's also being used against us. It's a guy right now that he's for sure going to jail over streaming. He's for sure going to jail. Bro made millions of dollars.
Oh, I seen that joint where he made the AI band and then had AI bots run it.
Not
That's
not not the AI band. He made like 12 of those drums.
some hater shit. When I seen that joint,
Right,
I'm like, they some fucking
right.
haters for
I'm
that.
like, y'all use
Right.
bots.
He pimped it. He
Megan
pimped it.
Megan Thee Stallion Megan Thee Stallion is
He
about to be
pimped it.
sued for buying streams.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah, but that's fuck. But
just
y'all
last year,
coerced.
y'all
That's fucked up, bro. Go
just
ahead.
last year y'all put
That's
that
fucked up.
just last year y'all put out the study and y'all told us on
That's
Spotify
fucked up.
80% of your streams could be fake. And then when people start really really capitalizing off of it, now
Now y'all about to lock
we going to
them up.
jail.
It's a crime. Oh
And
my
he
god.
got paid like $80 million. And he ain't make $80 million. He made
Yo.
millions of dollars, but he ain't make $80 million.
Because
And
you know
now
why? As you're saying it now, because I'm into the data space. Yo, that's a data breach. That is a cyber crime, bro. You
that's what I'm
cyber.
saying. It was
That's a
like
cyber
I said,
crime. Damn, I never look at it like that. You
he
you
committed
influencing
a
other people's
crime, but
investments. This is fucking with the stock market. Like y'all niggas
y'all
this
told
is
us
a
that it was
crime.
cool to do that. Y'all told us
Yeah, and
that
they but
it was
but
cool,
that's what they
but
did
y'all
when we
thought
sold drugs. That's what we
what
do.
y'all thought was gonna happen, was we was gonna go to these minor companies, the niggas that DM you on Instagram,
Yeah.
yo, bro, I can get you to 10,000 streams. You thought that we was gonna go to them and do it small time, and
Mm.
somebody figured out, oh no, I can make millions of dollars the same way that these big labels, all of the labels are doing it. All of the labels are doing it. Ain't none of them going to jail.
Right. Right.
Because
The cartel. It's the
even
cartel.
even even with
Damn.
Megan Thee Stallion being at the forefront of this right now, that's a scapegoat, bro. She's
Yeah.
not signed to herself. She's
Yeah.
not she's not paying out of pocket, out of her money.
She didn't buy the
To
streams out of her credit card, out of her wallet. Like she didn't buy them. She just benefited from them. That's crazy. I'm happy you shared that with me. Now I have a project to look into because I knew that they were getting sued, but I didn't connect the dots of like, yo, they really what's that called? They framed y'all with drugs. Like they framed y'all, they told y'all to use this service. And I knew it from the beginning, but I didn't know that this was the last page of the book where it's like I seen where DistroKid and the streams and all of that, it was a scam. I peeped it in the pandemic. That's why I got off of it because I used to have a
remember I've been told people get off of DistroKid, bro.
yeah, yeah, it was
Anybody
yeah,
that
man.
lets you
They've been running
upload
scams.
music, they let you upload music without clearance. It's
Yeah.
not going to go well. Like I done had so many people that I know personally, like, yeah, bro, I don't even pay for beats, and it's like, what?
They make you pay to receive your royalties as a featured artist. Like it's a cartel.
Yeah,
It's like extortion.
it's a Ponzi
It's
scheme.
literally extortion. It's like walking into your business and saying, "Yeah, so you gonna give me this much money or you ain't getting no money." That's extortion. So this goes into the next one, which is creative control. Wow, that this is
I told
actually I like
you
the
I
pace
be
of this. Yeah, yeah, I like the pace. And I'm interested because y'all deep. I know we done had at least 30 niggas walk through the club, and this is why I love lives because it's like we really just had a small like event. Like this was like a small workshop at a school. People came in, people came out. Some people sat the whole
yeah.
time, and it's like that's why I love technology for these reasons. I'm not saying I'm in love with technology. I'm saying I love it as a tool because it exercises the will of those who actually have a creative mind, a work ethic, good intentions. I know people who come up here and do yoga with y'all and work out with y'all and blend food with y'all and have a mental health break with y'all in the morning and they shoot this with y'all and make y'all, you know what I mean? So it's like these engagements are super intentional and I really be hype about this because it's like we really saw 30, 40 people who really wanted to get this information. So if anybody, if you watch this on Instagram, what I thought of and you let me know, because I be hitting Mick with stuff on the live just to let y'all know. She don't be knowing what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we got the live, right? It's going to go on the gram. But you know how, stuff gets buried. You know what I mean? Because they don't
Yeah.
got a search engine on Instagram. So I'm like, let's leave it on the gram, right? And then we can upload. I can take the uploads, put them on YouTube, and then I can stick them in the Discord so that they'll be in chronological order. So when people want to come see the full John, they
Yeah.
can join the Discord and I'll make a little John for Mondays with Mick. You feel
Yeah.
me? You mean so
Don't
that
forget the
way
I was
it can
about to say,
stay on
don't
the
forget
page for
the
free.
when you
But
when you download it, upload it to the folder. Cause I need the
that's why I
first
was saying it
John.
because I still got to get it
Yeah.
to you. that's
Yeah.
that's why I want to do that because it makes my
Easier.
workflow of getting it
Yeah.
to you more efficient versus like me waiting for Wi-Fi and all of that dumb shit that I got to do. So yeah, so I'm gonna read the creative control one and then I'm gonna let you get into the example. But that was for y'all as well to know that's the pace. It's on the page. I post 16 things a week, so you're not gonna find it on my page.
And
You probably better off
I
going to Mick
I post
page
like
and to
12
find them.
though. So
So
it's still
this is what I was saying. It's like y'all better off when I upload it on YouTube and put it in the Discord. Y'all will be the first people. It'll be unlisted. We're not gonna like publish it. We're just gonna have it as an unlisted video. We're gonna put it in the Discord for y'all, and then you know what I mean. Do as y'all will. That's Satanism. Don't do that, y'all. That was a joke. That was a joke.
caught
All
me off
right.
guard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a joke, y'all. Anyone who caught that, all right. So creative control. Creative control refers to how much, excuse
How much that?
me, yeah, creative control refers to how much say you have in the music you create. including what songs go on the album, how they sound, and how they're promoted. Often, labels have the final say, which can limit your artistic freedom.
Mm, yeah, I, I told you how I wasn't signed, but it was a situation where
You
my
signed
music, like,
an agreement. I
no,
get what you're saying.
I ain't signed an agreement, but the sound was influenced. Remember,
Mhm.
I told you that the
I got
one
what you're saying.
song,
Yeah, it wasn't an
yeah.
agreement. It was just, I got you. Yeah, I remember what
Um,
you're talking about as well.
but all right, so Prince, everybody know Prince. Everybody know Prince. If you don't,
I
you
don't know
don't.
what's going on.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't
I get
listen
it.
to music.
Gen Z, Gen A, I get it, but
Mm.
Prince, come on, y'all. That's different.
No, I was about to say the third graders. I walked in my class and they was like, "That Prince or Michael Jackson" on my shirt. I'm
Yeah,
like, "It's
that's
Prince."
good. All right. That's good.
Um, but Prince was signed to Warner Brothers, and he had very little creative control over his music. And once he really realized what was happening, like
Big
he
Gemini, too.
he
Always reading them
yeah,
content. Never play that name.
yeah. So once he got to the point where he couldn't take it no more, he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. So you could never really say like how we say Prince. It's not. It's not. It's not the name. That that symbol, the eye with the, you know what I mean. That's his name. Um, and he started to perform and do interviews with slave written across his forehead. As the label, it's like we got to get this nigga out of here, like, because like you can't do nothing about that. Like you can't do nothing about what he's writing on his face. You can't do nothing about how it's perceived when he
Right.
goes on TV with like you. That's the equivalent of if Jimmy Kimmel was upset with the network and bro just started wearing blackface. It's like we can't have that. Like no matter the outcome for us, that cannot be part of it. Like we got to get him out of
Right.
here. So that was how he ended up getting out of that deal. It wasn't like the first time he did it, but it was when they realized that like he wasn't gonna stop, they let him go.
They caught up with him. No, no funny ish.
No,
They caught up with him.
no,
They caught
no,
up with
no, for real.
him and said, "You got that one, Prince."
How
That
much
you
time we got
you
left?
outside. Um, about 7 minutes, 6, 7 minutes.
Uh,
So let's just start the next one,
yeah,
y'all.
I was just
Let's
about to
like
say that.
let's cut it
Everybody tap.
clean.
I was
You know what
about
I'm
to say everybody
saying?
tap back in because we getting into the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, real rap. And I want to thank y'all as well. Anyone who watched it to the end or hears this part, if y'all still here, this is really for the live people. Um, we're gonna do our best to do this every Monday and get it published in the Discord and everything. But I want to leave an opportunity for you to cash app us, right? Because if y'all cash app us or buy her project directly on Even or a service from my website, what it does is it gives us the tools and the resources to make things better from y'all. It allows us to invest in things like StreamYard. It allows us to invest in promotion and graphics and team members and moderators. And it allows us to take this to another level so that y'all can get what y'all need. Because y'all been tapped in the whole time, which I greatly appreciate. You know what I mean? And it lets me know that y'all are eager to know these things and that y'all are more importantly walking with us. So you can go to my website, you feel me? And I'm gonna let Mick give you, give her testament of how you can like invest with her. Because when y'all invest with us, it allows us to just really reinvest in the business and give y'all more tools and resources to work with.
Shut up, bro. I'm talking to Riri.
I know,
I ain't
yeah,
talking to you.
I know, I
Um,
know.
but all right, so y'all could go get paper mache off of Even. You can go get yours truly off of Even. When you get paper mache, um, depending on what tier you pay, you could pay what you want for either one. So you could pay $1, get the music. You could pay higher amounts and you get different things. You can get merch. You can get the videos. You can get the documentary. For paper mache, you can even pay to get a percentage of the streaming royalties.
To me, right?
He said, sign me to a 360. We talking about that next week.
Yeah, man.
But all right, so we're gonna tap
Yeah,
out.
we about to
Everybody tap
we
right
about to
back in.
literally start this joint right back up. So don't go anywhere, y'all.